Anyhow, beside Terran being broken, we have on the top right of altitude, blinking red for PigPan, it is Pi.
And on the bottom left of the map with blue SCVs, it is messieeee. Not sure how to read that.
A tiny bit of banter going on. I really love that. Now we do have another TVZ, and they are keeping score. God damn! Can you keep score of the overall, please, as well? Oh me, oh my! Standard build
Nice.
from Pi.
Yeah, this map is, I want to say that it's a great Zerg map. With the amount of space, the amount of bases that the Zerg can spread out to and basically feel comfortable, especially the fact that the outer bases, like once you take 5 bases, it's very hard to kind of come in and unnoticed and sneak a drop, which is, Terrans love to do that. So you get just a great amount of vision from the Zelnaga towers as well.
Yeah. The bases are also fairly decently sized. They're not too big that Terran just wants to drop you over and over, and they're not too small that it's impossible to do so. I really like it. The only thing I really dislike about this map, I'm already nagging about it, is the fact that we have snowflakes all over. And I'm as easy to distract as a cat, so it's not going so well for me. Oh, yeah.
Well, there's, for now, a very standard opener out of both sides, so, you know, you can look at the snowflakes.
Let's follow the snowflakes. Yay.
All you want. The Reaper actually will get a kill on the drone. The drone is a little too late to do a spore trick or anything of that nature.
Oh, another kill.
Actually, another kill.
Ring Around the Rosie is playing this in this Reaper.
Yeah,
I mean, we do have a ledge here, which is not being held by the Queen by any.
But the Marine is getting picked off because he was rallied across the map. Pi gets the Marine, and we have a factory building the reactor and barracks building the tech lab. Interesting choice.
Interesting indeed. What could be? I mean,
that will slow down any units out of Messi by quite a while, and the 4 Zergling poke, if they surround that Reaper, Messi is in for a very messy game indeed.
yeah, we don't have a bunker on the high ground so far, so these Reaper will need to be microed very intensely for him to survive this. Thankfully, Messi was watching when the Zerglings came, and he will be able to shoot them off, killing one already, but taking way too much damage, and he's not on a ledge, so he will die. Very unfortunate.
Yes, indeed. The Lings are going to pick off an SCV, which is great. Really. They're going to waste some mining time as well.
Yeah, the mining time was the most important part, I think.
I would argue that the most important part was that one Ling that ran into the base and scouted everything. Pi sees a finished 3rd command center, a starport, factory, and 1 barracks. So basically, Pi knows that outside of 4 Hellions, there's not going to be anything coming his way for the next 2 minutes. So he can drone up to 60 workers with impunity.
Yep. But we do have a Liberator on the other side, a run by of 4 Hellions, so there will be some damage from coming out of Messi, and I really like that, because you can never rest on your laurels when you're playing Terran. Actually, catching the 3rd base was not ideal, because there was the Queen already there, prepared. 1 drone is always fine to catch, especially if you don't really take any damage. But I really want to see what happens when the Liberator is pull into the mix, and Pi is forced to multitask his way around these bases. Liberator is really not
Line is building on
conveniently.
the third. That is an interesting choice, and we have more Hellions coming out. They're standing
lot
on
of
the edge of the
Hellions.
creep.
They see the spine crawler and they say, nope, it's not a good day to die. Alright, Liberator gets scouted. The Spore is in a perfect position to intercept it, and the Queen will be able to finish the rest, but the Liberator lives so far. Rings.
One Hellion runs in and tries to do damage. That's a big Hellion run by.
Actually, I was not rating them joining up, but as a matter of fact, it worked very, very well here with the 4 Hellions remaining, killing the rest of the Banelings off. And the Liberator is still there, and I guess it will have to move in a few, but for the time being, the Hellions are safe and they can clear creep. They also got to clear a base of drones, so I guess it was all fine. The Liberator dies though, off screen, off camera, unsung. So sad.
Yeah, but we have Bane speed and Roach speed finishing at the same time.
Stim without shields, that's a Quasal special if I remember correctly. It was either way. It was either shield without stims or stims without shields. I don't think it's very healthy, but I love this line.
Well, the big problem with that is once you stem the unshielded Marines, they die to 1 Baneling hit.
Yeah, I remember him trying to.
The shield allows them to survive on 5 HP, right?
Yeah. They should. I remember him trying to force his way in with stims without shields on a ramp against us. It was not a nice day to be a Marine.
Indeed. So the question is, will Pi spot this drop coming across?
Well,
he has an Overlord perfectly positioned, but is he paying attention? And
Roaches
the answer is
there.
no.
Not really.
The roaches were popping out, so that was pretty good for our Zerg player. And the medevac is gonna stay in the dead space, ready to come back.
Spore and Spine from Pi. He really wants to be safe. He's on 69 drones. Nice, by the by. So it's very healthy for him to be staying at home and just trying to do Zerg stuff where you want to expand. Maybe take a 4th. Maybe think about a 5th, but do not take the 5th. Embrace the thought. Do not embrace the base though. That would be terrible. Trying to do a run by or some sort of push here, I really would mind from Pi, but if he finds the arm and that's so well, and he has way too much time to react. These tanks are not
no. The tanks are on siege. The Marines are getting caught by Banelings, and Messie's army is not having a good time. At the same time, the drop comes back into the base, the medevac gets cleaned up, so these Marines are not long for this world, but that forces an F2 move back from Pi, and the Terran third is gonna live, even though it was not supposed to, and 16 drones go down in Pi's main. That medevac forgotten in the dead space did a ton of damage.
And the tanks are now sieged. So this time around you won't have the whole army of Terran just move commanding into your own. And we do have a 5th base from Pi, nice call there. You need to start thinking about the mid game now. And at the same time though, we have an upgrade advantage for Terran. No, sort of. It's a strange scenario we are in, as we are only researching +2 weapons for Zerg, so they will have a +1 advantage on Terran, but they're not researching Carapace, which Terran is, well, not Carapace, but armor. Rather armor. And so for the time being, Zerg will be on an advantage when it comes to upgrades, but the longer the game goes on, the advantage will shift into
Well, the
Terran's
fourth
favor.
base is about to go down for Protoss, for Terran. The planetary is only a quarter of the way morphed, so that
Oh.
base is not long for this world.
Okay, not wasting Banelings, that was the right call there. Oh, losing the Observer though. The Overseer, sorry.
And Banelings collapse on the army, but they collapse on the wrong part of it. They don't go after the juicy target, the Marines. Instead, they splash on the Marauders.
And the PF lives. Not a PF yet, but the soon-to-be PF lives. Cuttingly being left behind, they will be able to scout the remainder of the Terran army moving out. This push will be a slow one because we don't have as many siege tanks as I would like to see, but at the same time it's very scary for Zerg because we don't really have to creep to contest it. We have a tiny bit of a slither there, but it's not enough, and the Banelings are very slowly trying to creep their way into the Marines, but they're not really connecting. The Roaches are trying their best. Flank.
Yeah, but the tanks are cleaned up, and now the only thing that is left is a few Marines versus a Roach Ravager army, which is not what you want to have. The Lings run by on the other side of the map, trying to clean up the siege tank, and they do get one tank that was unsieged, and the PF is going to be contested again and is going to die. The Terran army is trying to
just retreat now. He has
punished to move back, but there is no tanks, and
eat your own biles. Know that. They're not healthy. Do not eat your own biles. Now, Messi is trying something desperate in my opinion, because he's moving his army away from the opponents when he's already trying to rebuild his CC on location, sort of. And he really doesn't have an army to deal any amount of damage on the other side. He's very lucky that there's no defense here.
He has 2 medevacs full of bio, which is a pretty scary, and this move out again forces an F2 click back from Pi.
Oh, nice position by Messi. This will get messy. Okay. Terrible jokes are my standard.
Yeah, it was the first one to call it. We have Lings trickling one by one into 2 siege tanks. I feel like if they were grouped up better, they would have been far more effective. And if there, I think Pi could use a little bit of a more decisive stance. And he would benefit greatly from not using F2 that much.
We do have Greater Spire, Ultras, and all the good shit coming out from Pi. I think our Terran player will have a little bit of a disappointment when he does the next push and he realizes that the army he was expecting is no longer there. Instead there's a bunch of Ultra Cows, Space Cows, and
well,
very angry.
This push is actually being fairly effective at cleaning up the Zerg army, but the tax of the Corruptors do exact a very big tax on the medevacs. Almost nearly all the medevacs are dead, and that is going to be a huge blow to the Terran army, because the medevacs that we have are very low on energy, and if the one medevac that has 107 energy dies, and the Terran army will be constantly damaged from stims. That is one thing where that is a very common situation where you lose all the medevacs, and if once the ones you produce go back to your bio, spend all the energy, and don't get any, and you still back where you started with a bio army that is always in the yellow.
On the other side, I really love the foresight from Messi, going already into ghosts, and the only real advantage that Pi had at this point, because he lost his army advantage when he made a terrible engagement on the defense there.
The links continue to trickle in on the left-hand side. Like this
I
is
really love that.
this has been a recurring topic of links going past, and we have Banes going after the SCVs. They take the full mineral line.
But at the same time, the Brulos are completely exposed. They get killed in a matter of seconds. And there's not really too much meat on this Zerg army anymore. We have 42 army supply against 110. And if Messi would just push, I really did not expect the push from before to do as well as it did. But now the army of Messi is basically uncontestable.
Absolutely, and I think the challenge from the previous push was the tech switch was a bit too early.
I think it was just too complex. It was at a good point in time, but he tried to do two switches at once because he wanted to go both into brutes and ultras. But he should have either used the ultras in the defense for the time being. Even without the +3 armor from the upgrade, they're still a very good unit. But yeah, it was probably a mistake on the switch, as you were saying. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. That's a very, very good push from Messi. Very decisive and careful at the same time.
Oh, the Banes are blowing up on the tank instead of the bio. The ghosts are sniping the ultras. The sniper also goes down on the remaining brood lords. And yeah, this Terran army is just gonna run over Zerg bases one by one.
Yeah, at this point this ball is basically unstoppable as another bases fall and the Terran army advances. I don't think there's any more hope for a Zerg player here.
Now there's a sliver of hope because, as I said, the medevacs are absolutely completely drained. And the Terran bio is all shades of orange, but there's just nothing that is left on the Zerg sides that can take advantage of that. Maybe? Okay,
oh
that was a great Bane explosion and surround, and that was the end of that fight was extremely efficient for the Zerg, but we are still in a situation where Terran has 2-to-1 army advantage. The reinforce comes in. The medevac production has been non-stop, so the fresh medevacs are going to be able to heal up that army.
Yeah, there's no more army for Zerg. We do have a bank for Zerg, but we are trying to switch into units that are very slow to produce, especially Broodlords, because they have a two-state thing in them. But well, it's gonna be a win for the NoCaps, and it's a 4-0 at that. Look at that.